Today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and coming off a partially rainy, partially sunny weekend, was very glad to take advantage of the Historical Society's tour. It's the first time I've done that. Mayor Concannon, you and I were both on the, happened to be both on the same trolley.
That's right. Yeah, it was a fun time. We saw a lot of cool stuff. Got to see some nice people. Emery and I had done it before, but they mixed up some of the venues, some of the sites, and added even more information. So it's well worth doing it again.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And we really appreciate it. It was a couple of city employees who came in on their weekends and helped share lots of information and their passions.
Yeah, Scott Johnson down at the water treatment plant. He's awesome. He's totally committed down there. He does a great job, and he does all the tours for all the young students. And he's a guy who really gets it. So we appreciate that. And of course, over at the library, we had Megan and Ashley come in so that the group could explore and enjoy the archives room. So that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it was really great to see them. I appreciated it. And you can just see the passion and excitement for what they do. And it was really nice to see that shared with all of us.
Yeah, I would encourage everyone to go check out certainly both of those, the treatment plant, but even at the library, there's so much to see over there. And Ashley is more than willing to schedule tours and sessions, and she's available for Q&A and all the archives. Such a treasure trove over there. It'd be great for people to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. You know, when we were preparing to do the video tour of City Hall that we did a few weeks ago, I contacted Ashley and I said, I don't know what you're going to have. And she was a wealth of information. It was really, really helpful.
She's actually, we found out she's a direct descendant as well of Captain Edward Johnson. So she's a distant relative of Anne Marie. We found that out yesterday.
That's so fun. That's fantastic. Yeah. I love it. I love it. New cousins popping up all over the place. I don't know if it's officially cousins, but we'll call it that. Yeah, it was really fun for me. I learned a lot, actually. I thought I knew a lot, but I learned a lot of new things, and it was also fun. They do a really good job. So
yeah, Kathy Locero does a great job with those tours. She's just a wealth of information, and she's always happy to share it with people. So we appreciate what she does.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, if maybe they haven't had students say it, the third graders, I believe, are the year that every spring do it. And then eighth graders don't do a volley tour, but they go to the first burial site and do a project there that's involved with folks there. So it's lots of ways to enjoy our history.
Yep.
Excellent. So today was a busy day because we have started to deliver the recycling bins. We've been seeing lots of people call with questions and posting pictures and having that delivered. And so just wanted to remind people that will be happening throughout the week.
Yeah, these are the big recycling bins that we've been talking about being delivered this week to all the people who are normal customers, and they'll be put in use next week. And I know you and the Board of Health and others have been working hard on FAQs for this whole transition. And so that all that is available on the website. We encourage people to check it out. There's a pretty good chance that any question you might have has been asked and is listed. But if there are new questions, we'd be happy to hear them and answer them and share them with everybody else in the city. We know that change can be hard, but we do believe this is in the best interest of the city. And with a positive attitude from everybody, this should go well.
Yeah, I was impressed with how fast those carts were going off the truck and into yards. It was a well-oiled machine. It looked like they were well practiced at doing this.
I think they've done this once or twice before.
Yeah, I love it. So speaking of clean, we have a cleanup of one of our conservation areas, Shaker Glen, coming up this week.
Yeah, this Thursday at 4:30. City Councilor Chuck Viola from Ward 7 is spearheading this along with a team, and we're hoping to get a bunch of volunteers over there to help clean that area up. As people are probably aware, there was a long-term project in the works over there to basically transform the area and reroute the brook and hopefully positively impact any of the drainage issues over there, and also allow for people to have some trails to traverse through there. So this is a nice way to generate some interest and get over there and maybe do a cleanup for now and answer some questions for people in advance of that bigger project. So I applaud Chuck Viola for stepping up to organize this, and I hope to be there myself Thursday at 4:30.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. And for those who haven't done a cleanup like this before, our partners bring gloves and bags and things, and then our DPW does a great job of coming by the next day and picking everything up. So it's a great team of people coming together. If you can spare a few minutes, even encourage people to come on by.
Yep.
Excellent. Before we stop talking about cleanup, this is the last question related to that, I promise. We had talked about in the past, you'd been looking at yard waste, and we might have an opportunity to have an area in the city where residents can use that space in between home pickups. And I didn't know if we had any progress that was worth noting and updating. It's come up a lot as we're doing the recycling bins. People are curious.
Yeah. So right now, once a month, Waste Management picks up yard waste curbside, and then they have to truck it far away at a cost. So as we were renegotiating their contract, we talked about options. One of the options would be to have the collected yard waste be deposited here in Woburn and managed by us. And we're working on trying to implement that type of plan up in North Woburn. We're working with Councilor DeMambro and the DPW and the Board of Health and the Conservation Commission to try to come up with a plan that would allow us, at least initially, to dump that yard waste that's collected once a month and manage it on site there. And then perhaps open it up to residents to also bring yard waste at other times during the year, maybe a little bit more convenient for them. So that is in the works right now. We've met several times on it. The DPW is laying out some area where they think it could work with the engineering and Concom department's assistance. And again, Councilor DeMambro and Ward 6 is helping us with this. So we hope to be able to announce something soon, which would lead to significant savings for the city, upwards of $150,000, $160,000, if we can pull this off. So more info to come on that, but we are making progress.
Yeah, and just to be clear for folks, that savings comes with the same service, so that it's just that there's a different place that Waste Management is putting the debris that they're collecting.
Yeah, so much of the cost associated with the trash and recycling contract is the manpower, the trucks themselves, and traveling with what's picked up and depositing it somewhere. So any way we can minimize any of those costs will lead to savings for the taxpayers.
So this late last week, we put some new crosswalk signage in certain places throughout downtown. And I have to tell you, I was shocked. There was so much interest in it. I wasn't expecting so many people to get so excited about the signage, but it goes to show you that pedestrians have, struggled in some areas, particularly at downtown. We know that's an area. And I thought, we've rolled this out a little bit as sort of a trial to see how they do. Do they make a difference? Do they get run over by cars, and how often? And those kinds of things. I thought it might be helpful for you to kind of talk about some of the tests we're running and what we're looking for.
Yeah, so we were fortunate to get some funding from the state, thanks to State Rep Rich Haggerty, for downtown improvements and downtown safety concerns. So the planning department, Director Cashel and Assistant Planner Karen Smith, and the other two in the office there, the grant writer Kevin McDonough and our economic development manager Casey Haggerty, all got together and tried to come up with some ways to improve our downtown with those available funds. And one of the ideas was to try to revisit the notion of crosswalk pedestrian safety. We've tried a couple of things in the past, and we're going to keep trying to find something that can improve the safety. So what you're referencing, these fluorescent pylons at the crosswalks, they're sturdy, but they're movable, and they're something that we're trying to move around to find the best locations and the best applications. We put them out on Friday, and knock wood, my last spin through town, they were all still there. To your point, we're trying some locations, and we're trying applications that will be practical, because it doesn't make much sense to put them somewhere that doesn't work and just causes a headache. That's not our goal. So we're watching to see turning movements. Obviously, one of the big concerns is the movement of public safety apparatus, the fire trucks traveling through downtown. So, it's kind of like a lessons learned kind of thing. We're looking to see if they're in the right spot and if they work. It's okay if they happen to get glanced or knocked down. We'll take that as a lesson to be learned. and adjust accordingly. But there are 6 of them downtown, and so far they seem to be working okay. And the comments that I've seen are favorable, and they're usually somebody asking, where can I get one for my children's school or our neighborhood park? So depending how this goes, you may see more of them throughout the city, but we are in the test, the pilot phase right now.
And it's kind of a good time of year to do this because we know we'll have to pull them up for plowing season, right?
Yeah.
They're not something that can stay on the road at that time of year. So it gives us a nice
Yeah.
test in fall. It's still nice enough people are out walking around and
Yeah.
doing things and be able to collect some data.
Yeah, and some communities bolt them down. There is that option, but we wanted to leave them flexible for now. I don't really see that as the right application for Woburn. I think being able to move them around is a good idea. But, you know, to your point, they'll be up soon enough for the winter so they don't get in the way of the plows. And then we'll team back and see how we thought it went and roll them out again in the spring, maybe in those locations, and maybe we'll get some more for other locations as well. I would encourage feedback. If people see something that is working great, they should tell us. And if they think it's not working so great, they should tell us that too, because we're listening.
Yeah, excellent. Great. If you haven't been downtown and you're wondering what the heck are we talking about, these are signs that sit on the double yellow lines in the middle of the crosswalk. So in theory, a driver might have greater visibility of that than they might not be able to see somebody just taking a step off on the sides of the road. So
Yes.
The thought is that this would help remind drivers that there's a crosswalk here and you need to go slow and take a look around.
Yeah, and we've got 6 of them out in strategic locations. Not to say they couldn't be put elsewhere, or again, if we're learning that they're not working that well where they are, we'll move them. We're trying to do the right thing here, and we're trying to improve safety. So we'll keep doing it until we get it right.
Excellent. The last thing I wanted to talk about is we have a community meeting coming up on Thursday around community electricity. And in that meeting, we'll talk a lot about it. We had somebody on from Good Energy not that long ago, but I thought it might be helpful to just remind people what we'll be chatting about during that meeting on Thursday.
Yeah, so this is it's an opportunity for communities to essentially aggregate the purchase of their electricity to achieve 2 things. Hopefully, less cost. That's one of the main goals. But more importantly, some stability and reliability and predictability in your bills by aggregating with your neighbors. So state law allows communities to partner with somebody like Good Energy and to roll these programs out for people to sign up for. There's an opt-out provision. You do not have to do this if you want to keep doing things the way you do. There's no problem with that. But we think historically, the communities that have taken advantage of this have it's resulted in a better bargain for their residents. As I said, historically there have been some savings, but more importantly, it's about the reliability and knowing that you're locked in, and you're not going to have those volatile spikes that you might otherwise have. So Thursday night we'll have a presentation from Good Energy and the team and answer any questions people might have. And again, we'll just reinforce the point that if you don't want to do this, you don't have to.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for joining me as always. Really appreciate the chance to catch up on a number of things happening around the city.
Thanks, Samantha. Take care.
Thanks. Next up, City Councilor Bob Ferullo. Welcome.
Hey, Samantha, how are you?
I'm good. It's always great to chat with you. I know as a city councilor at large, you get a variety of people reaching out across the city for lots of different things.
Right. It's sort of fun. I get all the fun and none of the responsibility. No, it's great. I get to get out and see the different parts of the community. A community, as you're aware, that I'm real familiar with. I spent my life there.
Yes.
And I'm doing some great stuff. And I have an opportunity to go with all the councilors that want me to go with them. The other night, I went up with Jeff Dillon up to the Plimpton school site and spent some time with a very engaging neighborhood up there. And, it's fun to get out and see the community and to support my fellow councilors where they need it and to help them with the bigger projects or sometimes help them with the more difficult opportunities to be another sounding board to help them along. But I'm having fun, and I believe it's my 6th or 7th year that I'm in now. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate all the ways you've served us over the years. We've been really lucky to have you on our side.
It keeps me going.
Yeah. So are you, just out of curiosity, are you getting a lot of questions about the new recycling program? Are people starting to get settled in with it a little bit?
I only had one phone call today, and it was the poor man that didn't understand the concept. And he was very fired up about it. I talked to him, and we had a real good conversation. And he said he throws away one white trash bag a week. He lives alone in a 2-room apartment. And I basically told him that, he can just carry on the way he's carrying on, and that it's not going to change his life. But, that was a fun, he called upset, and he, ended in a happy place. And that's something that if you can have one of those phone calls, that's a victory. It's when it goes the other way. They call happy and they leave mad. That's when there's a problem. But it was, it's only one phone call. But I'm sort of excited about it. I'm excited about the automation. And I look forward to the time that if we get to the point where we can automate all of the trash pickup, I think it would be really unique and cool to see. It would be more efficient. But I know that's a money issue, and I know that's down the road. But I'm thrilled to see this start to work.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of challenged ourselves. We've been very fortunate because we haven't been restricted. We just bought a bunch of bins and labeled them for recycling, and I honestly haven't been very careful about what we've crushed and what we've, tried to contain into a smaller area. We break down boxes, but we don't come up and things like that. So it's kind of a fun challenge in our household to see how much we can get into this 96-gallon barrel in our next cycle around. I've challenged my adult children. We'll see how we go, but I'm expecting good results.
Oh, I can't even get my kids to put stuff in the trash can, much less the recycling. But no, I'm excited for it. We recycle our plastic and our glass and cardboard. And maybe we can get more experimental and dig deeper into some of the other things that can go into the recycling stream as well.
That's great. So, one of the things as a city councilor at large is obviously the things you talked about, being able to help out in various places around the city and answer general questions, but also you vote on anything that comes into city council, and including new development projects. And one of the new proposed projects is a little hot and has a lot of discussion going on right now, which is what might happen with the Dome site on Main Street downtown. And just wanted, nothing has been finalized. I know there's a proposal that city council is considering, and I believe there's a hearing coming up on October 1st. Just wanted to give an opportunity for you to talk about your perspective on what you're seeing there and what you're hearing from folks.
So 2-part question. I'd like to talk second part about the bigger development that comes into the city. But as far as the Dome goes, I was sort of excited. I thought that was Art Deco trendy. I thought it was Cambridgey. I thought it was, and I vocalized that in one of my rare comments on the floor. And I got crushed. I mean, I got crushed on social media. I got crushed with emails. People didn't like my taste in buildings. So, I'll step back. I represent the people. I'll step back and reevaluate. But I mean, I thought I was really excited because they addressed their parking. They addressed the site. They addressed the sight lines. They tried to make it work in the area. That they actually did, I call it Minnesota style parking. So down on High Street where they have the parking underneath. This building at Salem Street takes care of their own parking. They're not moving the majority of it. There's like 2 or 3 spaces they need in the public parking. So I was really excited about that. And then I sort of like the Art Deco stuff on Mystic Valley Parkway going into Revere. There's a building very similar to that on the right side. So I was excited. My constituents have told me that my taste is horrible in buildings, and that that I need to rethink my opinion on that. But something needs to go there. I would love to keep the Dome. My dream, should I hit Mega Millions for however many $100 million, I would love to put an ice cream store there. And if you think back to Chadwick's in Lexington, I don't know if you remember Chadwick's. It was it was something that I would love to buy and build out just in my dream. It's only a dream here. But I thought that would be cool with the parking lot right there, and it would be a cool thing. That's not going to happen. But I mean, it's the money to rebuild the Dome or to rehabilitate the Dome. It doesn't work. And what doesn't work? It is tragic or sad that it's going to go away. Yeah. But we need to clean up the corner. That corner's been like that for way too long. And I look at the gateways. We only have so many gateways. We have North Woburn as a gateway. Wynn Street's a gateway. The Four Corners is a gateway. Montreal Ave's a gateway. I mean, you get into Woburn Center, that's the gateway to Woburn Center, and the first thing you see. And, that's pretty soon we'll have a brand new gateway up off of New Boston Street. But you didn't think, what are you going to see when you see Woburn? And your first impression off of 93 is, Montreal Ave. And we're doing an okay job over there. The gateway to Woburn Center, I want it to be something. And what that something is, I don't have an answer. But I think we need to do something on the corner. These folks put a lot of work and a lot of effort into what they did. And I guess just the people seem to be asking for a brick veneer. If they accommodate the building to look at a veneer or something that would fit more brickyard stylish. So when we come back, we'll certainly take that into consideration. I have a really good conversation with the attorneys on the project. Once again, just open conversation, no deals being made, to just talk about what the future is. And I mean, I think that we need to do that. They're putting a lot of work in at Everett Street, Everett in Maine, the old Brothers Pizza. They're working hard on that building. And then I love what they did that block at the Brickyard, from Dunkin' Donuts to the Brickyard. The Leo family is really investing in the community. And our fear of the outdoor patio at the Pocket Park, I mean, I think that's doing great. If you look at a Tuesday night or whatever night it is, that brings Woburn to life. And that's what we need to get to.
I think that's right. And I think that I'd love, you won't be a future architect, and that's okay. You do lots of other things well. But I think what is valuable to me is this is what this process is supposed to do. People came with a real investment in the community and a real desire to fit the building functionally. And they came with a design that maybe some people don't like. And that's what these public hearings are for. And that's why they're reaching out to you and other city councilors. And there's an opportunity to continue the dialogue and get it to something that we can all be proud of. Certainly what's there now is a mess. And I don't think there's anybody, even those of us who love the dome and wish there was a way to save it economically. We've had multiple people come in there and consistently tell us the math doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, you need to respect that, which then if I could segue that into the bigger picture of, I'm taking criticism, the council, in the development that's going on in the city. We need to control our development. We need to make sure that it fits into the city, but we can't leave an empty lot if somebody owns the lot and by right they can do something. And without getting into specific projects, I really think we need to look at making the good decisions when we have an opportunity in front of us. If they need a variance to put a small project in, when in fact a big project is allowed by right, let's seize the opportunity to support the creative small development in a timely basis, which could block out the bigger development of putting in. And I don't want to get into specific projects, but we have a couple out there that I think we were penny wise and we're going to be pound foolish here in a minute. And that's where I think we need to deal with the developers, build trusting relationships, two-way communication. And if they burn us, we change the way we play the game. But if you have the right to put in 100 apartments and you want to put in 12 houses, take the houses. And, we can complain about the houses, but right now we're complaining about 100 apartments. And I mean, that's generally speaking that we need to look at what we do and try to work toward people to get them into the community in a fashionable way. And, I drive, and I'm sure you see it in different cities, the signage or the restrictions in facade, like the first Dunkin' Donuts didn't look like a Dunkin' Donuts, was in Lexington because they didn't want a Dunkin' Donuts in Lexington. Well, the different fascia stuff that we put in, to work better with that. Bring back the sign review board. Bring back, the front so that the signs are consistent and mannerism. Let's go seek grants to support signage. Let's make it look pretty, and bring it back to life. And it's a bigger picture. We need to look at everything that comes to us. And then I get very frustrated with developers that come with one thing and then come back to us and say, we looked into it and it really doesn't work, but we're halfway built, so we need you to do this as a minor modification. And it was sort of humorous. I did an event for my campaign over at the Woburn Village, and It was all out of town people. I didn't invite people that would be before me. I brought friends from out of town. And the common complaint over there, I'm sorry I'm late. I had to park over at the Red Roof Inn and walk. It was, it was difficult to get there. Those are things that we need to do a better job on. But our relationship, with the attorneys, with the project managers, to work with them. And, the public needs to know that what they see on the council floor is simply the tip of the iceberg of hours, for some councilors, many hours, on working on these projects. The project starts with a phone call. Hey, I'm thinking of this. What do you think? And so many projects die at that point. I said, I can't support that. I can't support apartments on Pine Street. I can't support this. I can't support that. And the project goes away. They only see like 10% makes it to the council floor. Other stuff is negotiated and dealt with. And, I have fun doing that. And, I have fun doing that. And you look at traffic flow, traffic impact. I've only seen one, all the time that I've ever been the police chief or on the council, there's only one traffic study that has been honest enough to say, this is going to impact traffic badly, and we're going to try to work with you to mitigate that impact. Everybody else, zero traffic impact in this project. And, we all know that that's, maybe truth, but it's how you interpret the truth is how you're going there. But I have fun doing it. And it gets me out of the house on, Mondays and Tuesdays, and gives my wife peace and quiet so she can watch Jeopardy without me bothering her.
Hey, everybody needs to have a little time apart to miss each other, right? In the years that I worked from home, my husband and I often would have that conversation about too much togetherness. So it's good now that I'm out of the office more. You do have obviously a real background in safety, and so I know you were in attendance at the downtown improvement safety first meeting that we had last week. Just wanted to give you a chance to talk about anything that sort of stuck in your mind after that discussion.
So I'm excited about the project as a whole. And I saw some changes that were I've been involved with this since I was a lieutenant. So that goes back to pre-2011. I've been engaged in these conversations. So there's been many visions of that and what we're going to talk about. And so I'm really thrilled about what we're going to do. And I also, they addressed the issue of the right turn at the Battleship Main there. Where there's going to be the ability to slip through in front of City Hall. So I'm excited about that. I think back to a project that was probably in the late 60s or early 70s called Topics, where Woburn did this once before. And I don't know what Topics stood for, and I was only in high school, if at that. But I just want to make sure that we walk it and we see it. And I really look forward to the opportunity to taking and Mario the beat cop that spends his life walking up and down the square. We need to sit him at a table and talk to him and say, Mario, what do you think? And we need to take Tulio from the what do you think, Tulio? Have some meetings. I'll give all my time in the world to him. Paul Kenneth from the corner there to talk to, Mike from Roma's, the people that live in this and say, this is what we're thinking. What do you think? And listen before we get too far down the road. But I am so excited that we'll give the ability to make traffic flow better. And then I think that we need to also look at, carefully speaking, the flow of truck traffic in the city. Is that it's an issue that we force people into the square. So if you get off of 128, the first left that you can take off of 128 is Salem Street. After 9 o'clock at night, if you get off of Route 93 and come toward Woburn, the first right that you can take is Main Street. So we're forcing trucks into the square. And, it's something that we have to look at that. The other thing I'm concerned about, and this is not going to get me any fans, we need to accommodate the bike lane. But we need to accommodate the bike lane so it's a safe bike lane, but also serves the community. It's possible that the horse-drawn paths that Main Street originated from are not going to be able to accommodate the bike lane that we all need. And we have to have the hard discussions now. So we're not having the hard discussions when there's a bicyclist pinned underneath the tractor-trailer truck at Main and Walnut Street. And I know that's probably a little too direct for this venue, but it's what we need to do. And, it's if you look at what.
By the way, not too direct. It's important conversation to have.
And it's, if we look at what's driving a lot of the urgency in fixing the safety, are those two folks that got hit in front of City Hall. And I was still the police chief when that happened. And that is not only a physical tragedy, the fact that they got hit, but the emotion behind the reason they were in Woburn, that they lived on Beacon Hill and they liked to tend a garden. So they would take the bus out, and they owned a piece of property on Wynn Street, and they would take their gardening tools and they would garden at their garden after dinner. And then they would take the 8 o'clock bus home, and they were running to catch the last bus. And you look at, we owe those people. And I don't want to sound, crazy, but, that's stuff that we need to look at. And we need to listen to Sergeant Stokes and Chief Rufo, Deputy Chief McManus. These are the guys that spent their life doing this. But I am so excited about the fact that we're going to have traffic flow. And you look at the crash. Wynn and Pleasant is one of the top X number of crash sites in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's because nobody from out of state, if you look at people having a hard time navigating the Rotary, they have out-of-state plates on them, because they're used to having people in the Rotary have the right of way. So they're becoming south on Main Street with North Carolina plates on their car, and they'll stop because where they come from, the Rotary gets the right of way. So, I mean, I'm excited about all that stuff. I'm excited about building the intersection there. I'm excited about access to Park Street. And I look forward to it. We're there, we're years away, but let's keep going. And I was really excited about the number of, and this is a hard word to use, non-Woburnites or new people to our community that were there with us the other night. Though there's two folks, they live right over on Court Street, I think. No, not Court Street, Bennett Street. They live on Bennett Street. Right. And they're showing up at all our city council meetings. They're not from Woburn, they moved to Woburn, and they're becoming part of the community. In my development where I live, two folks moved here from Somerville. We have outside people coming, and I'm excited. They're now becoming part of our world. You're doing your welcome kits and stuff like that. It's, I go back to, if you weren't born at the Choate, you're not from Woburn. But now we're building a bigger community, and I was so excited to see the different people with different priorities. We had a ton of bike people there the other night, and pedestrian people. But I'm excited about that, and to move forward, it was really good.
I actually, one of the things it's interesting that you mentioned sort of the lots of different people came to the meeting. One of the things I observed, it was great to see, we had young folks, we had older residents, we had folks who've been here forever, we have folks who've lived here for 5 years, we had people from a lot of different parts of the city who were attending. And the thing that we all share is we all spend time downtown, right? No matter what, the library, the city hall, the restaurants, the post office. There's lots of reasons that bring people from across the city into this area. And it was a great, healthy discussion. People brought up a lot, and there'll be more of those discussions to happen as we move forward. So thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. I appreciate it.
And I'm also excited about the town meetings that you folks do, that we do. I'll say we do. I mean, that it's they're getting momentum, and I think that the people that want to the people that want to get on the keyboard and have something to say, let's come together. Let's get in a room and listen. You guys put me in the seat to listen to you. I ask for your vote. I will listen to your opinion. We just need the venue to do it. Rob Toro did office hours the other night and nobody came. We want to do this stuff. If it's a matter of convenience time, I'll do it at lunchtime at Marco's or the Studio Cafe. We're here to listen. And as a city council, the 9 of us are very cohesive. We are very cohesive. And if you're upset about something in the South End and Billy Papalato can't make it, I'll listen. Or, if there's an issue, we're all here together. We want to hear from these people where we can reply and respond to them, and simply not answer in a keyboard exchange. That's necessary sometimes, but for the vision of the future, what do you want to see? And let us explain why you can't. I mean, I was at up on Plimpton Street, and there was some concern the other night beyond just the park that is going in up there. They were concerned about parking and the right to look at whose cars belong to. And I had the inner knowledge to be able to talk to them about staffing levels of the police department. We're safe. We're a real safe community, and the police department is well staffed to keep the city safe. But a lot of the opportunity that we had when I was a patrolman and a sergeant for discretionary involvement in the community is now sort of directed over toward necessary response to the community. I mean, up in North Woburn, that whole Commerce Way, Presidential Way corridor, Inwood Park, a lot of resources that used to be able to put on, bike shorts and drive around a bike and engage with the neighborhood. Some of that stuff's tempered down a little, but you talk to the people and let them understand and, get the department heads involved. We have a tremendous group of department heads in this community. Jay Durand, Chief Rufo, Chief Kenton. These are my people. That's how I spent my career with them. And then you have the new folks that join us. I mean, Casey Haggerty, she was so disappointed about her mural project, but don't lose the vision. I mean, don't lose. Let's go. Let's be us. And I get so excited about that. I know I'm rambling, so I'll be quiet now. But
it's all good. It's all good. I'm really glad, and I agree with you. Look, I've only been sitting in this seat for 8 months, in a formal role, and I've been very excited about the people that we work with in the city. And while I knew a lot of people before I took this job, I didn't see a lot of the inner workings. I didn't see internal meetings. I didn't see all the things that I see now. And there's an awful lot of people who care an awful lot about this community, who work and live here and collaborate together. And it is wonderful to see it. I hope, I'm excited to see people when they come to town halls for the same reason you are. They get to ask their questions in their way, and we get an opportunity to answer if we can, and if not, find out the answer to those questions. And we're grateful for the opportunity to do that.
And the other thing that I know we're running short on time, but the mayor's inclusion, I guess is the word I'll use, to bring people to meetings, to those Thursday morning meetings, the department head meetings. We have to be careful how many of us can show up. So, I mean, I've been scarce because I was working full time for the Commonwealth up till August 1st, but the involvement, the transparency, the fact to put us together so it's not us always calling saying, hey, I need this, to have Thursday morning meetings that we can say, hey, we're having this issue or that issue, and just have open communication. I'm so excited about the opportunities to participate in things like that. And we had a great recycling drive the other day. There were 4 or 5 councils down there with the mayor, and then to have the whole city council show up for that downtown meeting, that says a lot toward the direction that we are going as a team. And I'm just so proud to be part of that team and part of the bigger team of the city of Woburn.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for your time today. And I agree with you. I think we do better as a community when we have open lines of communication. And that's something that we can always get better at. We encourage people to give us feedback, but we're trying really hard to make sure that those lines of communication always are open and exist. And the city council plays a really important and critical role in that. And I thank you for always coming on when I invite you, for always being willing to answer questions.
Anytime you need to fill a spot, I'm here.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Woburn, I hope you found this information helpful. We've had a great chance to catch up on a lot of things. There is a lot happening in our community. We're very fortunate about that. And lots of things are moving very quickly. And so we want to make sure that if you aren't subscribed to the city calendar on the website, if you don't follow the city Facebook page, if you aren't just tuned into this show on a regular basis, we encourage you to do those things. And we encourage you to let us know other ways that we can keep information flowing in both directions. So thank you as always. And Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other.